Hello everybody! Today we're going to see how I draw ears. Okay, Sharpies, then Sharpies. So nothing but Sharpies today. I'm going to use Sharpies so you can see much better and you can see what it is I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to play around with the idea of the ear and then you can go from there. So the basics of it are, okay, so you have your head, right? And your ear, let's talk about, you know what? Let's talk about placement first. Let's do that. So here's your head. Here's your neck, right? Shoulder. Your ear is basically going to be, okay, so let's say your eyes there, nose, mouth, okay? And you do that with your placement, you know, your sizing and whatnot. So in theory, your ear is level with your nose, in theory. Now, there's the mouth. That's just a general guideline. And so you never have to draw like right here in this line right there and make the ear super tiny like that. That's just a rough guess of where it's going to be. And that's just to help you determine the placement. You know what I mean? So don't worry about whether you got it 100% perfect. Like I said, just if this is the dotted line, so you can see much better, and this is the dotted line for the nose, we'll go ahead and do this. So you can see where we are, right? Like I said, this is a rough guess of, okay, so that means I'm gonna put the ear, and you're gonna what's the other one? It's like down the center of the head, right? So you're gonna put the ear roughly here, okay? And again, that's just a rough guess, because look how tiny that face is. That also needs to be fleshed out, and this has to be re-sketched. A lot of times when you're doing this, you work with what you got, especially with Sharpies, but you can also erase and keep moving. Because I don't like the size of this, I would redo it, you know? So it's gonna put the head about like this. So see, now I brought it in just a little bit just to fit where this ear is gonna be. And so, like I said, that's just a rough guess to remember that it's usually about level with the eye and the nose. Now, that changes, obviously, as your head turns. So if you're going with the straightforward shot, we're going to say that's roughly the placement of the eyes, nose, and mouth. So same thing, we're going to put them roughly about the same positioning as where we did the eyes and eyes and nose. Okay. So basically it's roughly that. And that's just, like I said, a general guideline of when you're drawing your face, where things are going to go. Okay? And don't get stuck with the theory that, okay, that's it. It's always got to be right there. That's just a rough guideline. Remember, never. The human body, the face, the parts, it all changes as you live and grow and breathe and are individuals. So that's just a rough way of saying this is how you guess where it's going to be. So what I was also saying is that it's going to change with head movement. So let's say now, how about we look down a little bit. And it's still in the same place, but okay, I'm just trying to give you again another quick study. It's still in the same place, but in a different position, right? That's the whole theory. So it's not like it moved, but right? It's a weird looking ear. I'm here to teach you how to draw ears, and now I'm drawing all this weird stuff. Okay, so look at it this way. Now that it's looking down, when you're doing the front view, let's see if I can do this. Here you go. Let's draw some lines. Ooh, I've got it way too low, huh? So I can't do that. But basically what I'm trying to say is, so now the ear is going to be up here, a little bit higher than the nose and the mouth. So it's going to change as your positioning changes. And I guess that's a kind of a head tutorial I need to go through too, is changing your position. So basically, as your head is rotating, this line, you're going to go up like this. That's how you kind of think of it, and guide where your parts are going to be. So if this is, like we were saying, if this is going to be roughly the nose and the eyes, you can do the same thing here. So we can now draw the ears up here, but from a front view, right? And I know that's kind of a weird looking ear, but again, I'm just trying to sketch real fast with sharpies, just to guide us. Okay, we'll go do my hairline, something like that. So yeah, so basically, just think of it that way, as your eyes and your nose guide where your ears are going to be. And the thing is too, that's just placement. Now when we're talking about ears, they change, and they're different shapes and sizes and placements. So we can look at it this way. If you're going to draw the ear, we'll just kind of do this real fast, just to give you a quick placement of, or a quick description of the shape, basically. So something you want to think about is this part here attaches to the body. Okay, so there you go. Look at it like sideburns. You know, that attaches to the body, so that doesn't exist. What does exist are the little shapes inside. So what you can kind of think of, and this is always going to change, this is not 100% set in stone, is what's holding what, you know? So look at it like this. This is your shoulder. That's the arm that's holding it all together. Let's see if this is darker. Let's go with this one. Let's try this. So the parts you're going to draw, there you go, that you can see are kind of like that. Maybe I want to go with black. Maybe let's just try black. Maybe you can see that better. And then everything else kind of floats into itself and may or may not be there. And what I mean by that is you can't always see these in your drawing. Sometimes you can draw them, sometimes you can't, because you kind of don't have the liberty to draw every single line, or it'll stand out. Like, see, I'm drawing this with black. That's going to stand out. Everything else, like that in there, it's more of a shading, you know, because it's got an indentation and stuff like that. The blackness of the ear here, like the hole, that's basically a shading, you know. So you can't draw all those like I did here. You can't draw everything, or it's going to stand way out. Sometimes you got to go subtle, so you can't draw every single thing. But the other thing you got to remember is this changes all the time. You can't expect it to be like this and say, okay, this is the ear. Well, sometimes it's different. Sometimes your lobe doesn't connect. You ever seen those people where the ear is connected to the body like that? So they don't have earlobes. It's just how it is. I say they because I'm not one of them. I've got earlobes, so I don't find that the norm or the normal, but it's not odd to me. I get it. I understand it. And so this cartilage right here, it's not always there either. Sometimes it's just, you know, some subtle shading lines. And so what's hard when you draw this in a cartoon, like the animated shows, because there's no easy way to do it. Sometimes they do it like this, and that looks weird because now that looks like a big shape like that. Sometimes they do it like that. That looks weird because now it just looks like one arm like I was talking about around, and then you could do, you know, it's there is no easy way to do it, because every line you draw defines what you do. And so, you know, you pick and choose your battles, kids. That's the best way to say it, is you decide what you're going to do, or what's necessary for the job at hand. You know, pull the tools you need from the toolbox of your skills, and add those lines in as you need them. And so sometimes it's a big lobe, sometimes it's thin, sometimes it's thick. Basically, those are the same shapes you need to play with. And there's the inside of the ear, and figure out what you need for your drawing. Okay, so let's do it real quick. So, you know, I always draw the face straight on like this in a lot of my drawings. That's the rough, here's the face, you know? So I'm gonna draw some eyes, and I kind of remember there's 3 eyes in between. The nose is basically that third eye, that's where it comes down like that. Again, this is just a sketch, this is just roughly how to get there, you know? Okay, so now we're going to play around with the ear over here, but let's do it super big. Let's exaggerate it just a little bit, and then play around with what can you do, huh? Ooh, you know what? Let's do this. There, let's make it Elephant Boy. Okay, all right, Elephant Boy. Okay, so let's take this one, add just a little bit of detail. I'm gonna put in a pupil, give him the sour eye, and again, see, I'm just kind of playing around with gesture. And oh, so we can't see the mouth or any of that since we gave him a trunk. So let's play around with some other colors since we're here. So let's give him big bushy eyebrows. Right. Let's go ahead and color in that pupil. Right? Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and give him his big old ears. So, you know what else we didn't talk about? The back of the ear. I guess that's something if you're going to draw from the back of the head. Let's say that's the back. Your neck connects right there. Your ear, this part right there, is a little up like that. It's a little floaty. So that's where it connects to the head. There's the back of the head. So that's this part right here is all of this, and then this arm, like I was talking about, is what that lobe is. Okay, so talking about that here, I'm going to connect it to the back of his head, and then bring it in from the side, come back around, go up like that. Same thing, connect it here, connect it like that. Now this part sticks out just a little bit too. We'll go ahead and do that just to guide us as to where we are and where we're going. I'm just going to come in here, going to draw that lobe. I'm going to disappear like that, just to give it something, you know. So this part you can see too. So we'll go ahead and play around with a little bit of that, and these parts in here, all this cartilage, you may or may not see. It depends on what you want to draw, you know. Because he doesn't have a lot, we'll go ahead and put something in just to give him a little bit of flesh, so to speak, flesh out the character. So now I'm going to connect him to his head, bring it in, do like that. And there you go. You got Elephant Boy, right? Let's give him a little bit of a smile on that side. There we go. so there you go. That's the rough idea of the ear. You can oops, always cover your Sharpies, kids. Always cover your Sharpies. You can play around with that idea, but that's the basics of placement and the design. So you sketch it out and let's see where we can take this. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.